Fuck around there, rise and fine ass.
You're playing touch butt with that dork in the park, the ponytail. I'm the one who ain't got no training partner. I don't think so. Seem to have it all figured out when they're fighting midgets.
Damn it! 60 G's, baby!
Dust of Shakedown begins right now. What's happening, Dust Up Shakedown people, them, the Fight Week show people, them, the Rambling Dad podcast people, them, what's going on, people? Hope you guys are doing well. Salute to every single one of you that's joining us right now, whether you're watching on live, whether you're watching on playback. Big up to all of you, man. And yeah, we got some topics to really get through tonight. We've got some topics to talk about tonight, man, and it's just wild what's been going on in the world of MMA since we got served UFC 300, you know what I mean? But my brother joining me today is Jordan McDane, the Rambling That podcast. How you doing, my bro?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Like I said a second ago, feels like a quick fucking minute since we've done something like this. You know what I mean? UFC 300 feels like it was ages ago now, but we've all been busy on the sidelines for the last couple of weeks, and here we are, back at it, mate.
100%. It's been a mad week. But for you, you've been busy. You've been busy, boy. You know what I mean? You attended the Octagon event. I was supposed to be there with you, but some crazy shit happened to me. A lot of people know about it. My engine just went kaput, and that's the loss of 2 cars in the last 3 months. My missus and my car, both.
You washed your missus and your car.
You know what I mean? Like, it's all, you know what I mean? Yeah, man. Fucking, but like, it's just been a bad few months, man. So I had to pull back on that. But you were there. You represented as usual. You're always doing your thing. And how did you find it, man? And some of the fights, if you could give us synopsis on some of the fights that that you got to witness and stuff.
Yeah, mate, epic as always. Yeah, I mean, almost missed the press conference because of a crash on the M6 on the way down. So yeah, I mean, left Scotland, drove down, got my cousin Robbie in Warrington, so it was like 4 hours from here or something. Carried on driving from there down to Birmingham, got stuck on the motorway in the M6. Thought, oh, fuck, I'm not going to make this. And then the time just, when you're watching it on the sat nav, time just kept going up and up and up, and I was like, oh, inconsiderate bastards getting into a crash, man. You know what I mean? But hopefully everyone was all right. But yeah, managed to get there with 5 minutes to spare. Flew down the motorway, made up some time, missed my turning for the hotel. I had to go down a dual carriageway and back up again. And then Robbie was like, the turning's there. It was like a hard left, you know what I mean? Drifting around the corner. Managed to get there on time though, mate. It was sweet. I mean, straight away into the press conference, had the prelims press conference first, then the main card press conference from that. Back home up the road from there, chilled at my cousin Robbie's, and then went back the next day for the event itself. So yeah, the World Resorts Arena, mate, the place is absolutely massive. They got everything going on at that World Resorts Arena. I've never been there before, but I think it's 15,000 seater or something. Yeah, I mean, the place had a good few people in it, so it was pretty good. Get there, do all the usual bits, you know what I mean? Check in, get your bands, go backstage, get set up in the press area, get shown out to your seats, and then, yeah, done our thing, walked around, spoke to some fighters. We had Amiri Diedrich kicked the show off with the first knockout of the night, getting a lovely 1-2 finish, man. It was nice to see him get that on his home turf and in front of his family too. I had a little interview with him after it, just spoke to him, meant a lot to the man getting it done in front of his mum, and his own little family were there too, you know what I mean? So and then obviously we had Dennis Frimpong. He had a great 3 rounds too, quite a dominant 3 rounds. Bit of back and forth in the presser between him and his man Callum Mullen, but Callum Mullen in the post-fight press conference said he was home, but you know what I mean, the lights were on, but nobody was home, was his words. He didn't seem to have the performance that he was looking for. But Dennis, with that range and the style that he's got, man, he got the job done, and he was quite defensively sound when it came to the grappling exchanges between them too. So yeah, who else do we have? Shamrock versus Catacola. That was a wicked big Shem, man. Came out and got it done with him. Like, can't remember what it was now. Like just over a minute and 35, minute and 45 seconds.
Shem's lethal, like
mate.
That
boy's jiu-jitsu is his judo too, man. He landed a big nasty hip throw, took Katakoli down to the ground, and then his jiu-jitsu is just so slick, man. He's so tight. Like his pressure passing, everything about it. We thought he was going to get the rear naked choke with one arm, which was absolutely sick. And then next minute, he just managed to lock it in completely with both arms, got the finish on that one. So big shout out to Shamrock and Dennis Frimpong and Amiri Diedrich on that. Akon Wangless, obviously I had him on the show before it too. So he came out 48 seconds and absolutely flatlined his man. It was funny. The dude, Siraj, he didn't know where he was, bro, from that punch. He got up and tried to carry on fighting. He did not know where he was at all. He didn't know what day of the week it was. He didn't know who he was in there with. Mate, it was absolutely wild to see. And then, unfortunately, we moved. Well, not unfortunately. I mean, great win for Sam Creasy, #1 flyweight in the country for a reason. Went out there and got the job done against Aaron Abbey, unfortunately for Aaron Abbey. So, obviously, a little bit of a background with Aaron, like love his story. Obviously, he was born cystic fibrosis, battled through that. Then he went through testicular cancer, which spread stage 3 into his stomach as well. Was told he would never fight again, sitting there with his parents, and he got told to write his will out and fought all the way back from that and made it to championship fight after championship fight. So I was rooting for Az. Unfortunately, never got it done, but it's if anybody remembers the first Aaron Abbey and Sam Creasy fight on Cage Warriors, it was a bit of a washout. It was about 1 year after his remission from cancer, and Sam Creasy levered him all over the cage, like absolutely thrown him everywhere. And this one was a lot closer, and I think Aaron Abbey should take something from that. Yeah, I mean, and I think he does. I think he looks at that going, yeah, it wasn't. Creasy hasn't pulled away from me so far, so it's not like he's done and he's dusted. You know what I mean? He was still in the game. Unfortunately, just over 5 rounds. I think the judges never gave him a round. Probably could have given him round 3, maybe round 4. But yeah, it was a very close fight. But I think he struggled with the range of Creasy a little bit. But overall, mate, from getting behind the scenes, standing next to Leon Edwards. I was going to try and get a little interview with Leon to see what the crack was with UFC Manny, but we weren't going to get anywhere near him for that. Like, you know what I mean? He was just standing there whilst we were doing some interviews. He was at the medical station bit with one of his fighters from Renegade. One of his boys turned up, I think, on less than 24 hours notice because somebody pulled out. I think he was driving a bus full of kids and he just left the bus. So he got the call and he left the bus. He was like, someone's going to need to come and get these kids, man. I've got to fight. And he just bounced, you know what I mean? But yeah, big personalities. Andre, crap, I'm going to forget his name. Kalashnikov. I'm going to say Kalashnikov. They call him AK-47. Kalashnik, I think his name was. Dude, what a personality that guy was. Don't get me wrong, came on with some... with some Jimmy Savile looking specs to begin with, but boy, did he pull them off. He had a big mustache and that too, but his personality was great. I think Octagon got a star with him as well. So yeah, he got a lovely left hand finish too, mate. Overall, great night, great interviews, and as always, great promotion. They're doing great things for the UK scene.
That is one that I absolutely gutted I missed, man. And just looking at the event looked absolutely lively. But joining us, that's just gonna make this episode a lot more lively, is my brother Yao. How you doing, Yao, man? You good?
Kick it in the head. Yeah, I'm good. You know how I'm doing. Always doing amazing. Thank you, Ola. Amazing to be on the Dust Up and Shakedown. As always, happy to be here. McDane, I saw you talking to some amazing fighters this past weekend. Did you talk about the big motherfucker you were standing next to?
The big motherfucker, Will Flurry. I did not. I never mentioned Will Flurry. Man, that dude is one scary looking motherfucker. I'll tell you that. Like, so when I seen him at the press conference in the stare off, like in the stare down when they faced them off of each other, just looking in his eyes when they were staring each other out, I was just like, holy shit. I'm glad I'm sitting here with a microphone in my hand and not standing up there squaring off with that man. But his opponent was a big beast as well, to be honest with you. And it wasn't an easy fight for him. Like you said, you know what I mean? He broke his thumb 2 weeks out before the event. Still fought through it, managed to get that head and arm triangle to finish it. So, yeah, great finish for Will Flurry. But, yeah, scariest looking motherfucker you'll ever meet. Big scar down his face and that too. But honestly, one of the nicest, like, absolutely lovely dude you could stand and talk to. Yeah. And I'm going to give him a shout out on this one because obviously you speak to fighters to say, thanks, cheers, bro. You know what I mean? Fist bump or whatever after you've done the interview. Will Flurry was the only one that stopped and said, what's your name? Told him my name. He said, nice to meet you. Yeah, I mean, he shook my hand and never carried on with that. Like, he actually took that time to just like, what's your name? Yeah, I mean, nobody else did because obviously you're just going through the rigmarole of a scrum of guys from different media outlets all giving you interviews. But yeah, big shout out.
Y'all knows exactly what that's like, man. You know, I mean, he knows
every man for themselves, bro. Every man for themselves. You just got to get in there, like.
Just go get in there, man. And you know what? Big up to the work you done over the weekend. Fantastic work. We're always raving about your work ethic, how much effort you're putting into this, you know, MMA world that you embarked on. And I'm just loving seeing your work, and almost gonna say like I feel like a proud uncle.
Gonna say a proud dad.
Proud dad, man. You know what I mean? Just watching you doing your thing, man. You know what I mean? So no. On a more serious note, man, bro, you more power to you, man. And as this journey continues, we're gonna be there riding journey, and then hopefully, you know, we get to the promised land with all these fighters that we work with as well. You traveled as well. You traveled. You was in the midst of some MMA events abroad from where you live, still abroad, but you did your thing. How was it for you? Because I saw some of the things that you posted as well. It looked like a lively event. Tell us all about it, man.
Yes, abroad because I boarded a plane to get there. I agree. Yes. So I was out in Durban this past weekend at the MMA 2024 South African National Championships. And the National Championships, it's an amateur tournament, but it's the one tournament where you have what I'm now calling pride fighters. We have, as you always say, you have prize fighters. These guys who are doing it for the money at the end of the day. And those who are doing it for the nation are pride fighters. So you've got pride fighters and prize fighters. So I was out watching pride fighting. They were doing their amateur thing, and it was phenomenal. The finals on Sunday were amazing. The level of skill of some of the fighters, you can see them going quite a bit of a long way. And some of them are already fighting in amateur promotions here in South Africa. So big ups to the MMA Nationals, to the entire MMA SA that organized that tournament. It was phenomenal. It was great. And we're looking forward to the Africa Championships at the end of May next month. It's going to be fantastic out in Namibia. So hopefully we'll be there. We'll see. But yeah, that's what we've been up to is, making sure that when the amateurs come through, no matter who comes through the South African ranks, they know kick them in the head.
100%. I mean, combat sports has been crazy over the last 2 weeks since UFC 300, really. You know what I mean? And we haven't really, you know, tried to look at some of the other situations that went on around there. And I want to kick this episode off. I really want to kick this episode off with Dana, right? Dana White cost out every YouTube, every MMA media, everyone that ever shot on UFC 300. And he came and backed it with facts. And he didn't stop there. He named and shamed too. Dana got petty on this one, right? And I'm going to, after I read out these facts that he used to back it up, I'm going to get your takes on it. We'll start with Yao, but let me just come with Dana's facts first. Largest UFC event attendance in UFC history. 1. Third highest gate in UFC history. Most watched prelims in UFC history, 1.86 million viewers. Nobody really fucks with the prelims, except, you know what I mean?
Like, what a difference. Like, obviously, I do the prelim gang where you at post on Twitter, and that shit took off on UFC 300. Like, everybody was there, bro. Like,
imagine how it was going up on their socials. It's crazy. Highest per capita merch sales in UFC history, just for this event. 3.2 million viewer increase on UFC social media, like across the platforms. Number 1 trend in China for 3 straight days. Best social media performance in UFC history with 1.1 billion videos during fight week. And guess the last one here. The Holloway knockout of Justin Gaethje, right? Is the most liked, the most watched clip on UFC social media ever. Like, so, let me come to you first. After reading the book, like I said, Dana came with receipts, and he named names, right? Brendan Schaub, Jesse Fire, Ariel Awani, Brian Campbell, Big John McCarthy. Dana came with all the fight. He was dropping, he was naming names, he was naming and shaming. But what do you take from all of this? What's your take on this thing here that Dana's putting out to MMA YouTubers and stuff?
We all watched UFC 300. We all saw the BMF knockout. We all saw the Powhatan dominance. When he announced the main event of Pereira versus Hill, we all said initially, because we all wanted Brock Lesnar versus, I don't know, Godzilla, something crazy. And he announced Pereira versus Hill. And we all said, how is this a main card? How is this a fight to make a main card? And from all those stats and all those receipts that he pulled, and from everything that those people said, yes, he is 100% right. He has all the right to stand up and say, here you go. I gave you one of the greatest sporting events of our entire lifetimes, called UFC 300, but you all said was not going to make it. So, I mean, for me, I'm backing him all the way. Yes, he had the right to do it. Yes, he should say more. Yes, he should drop more receipts, because when he drops his receipts about slap, we all kind of laugh at him when he says it's the highest streamed sport, it's more streamed than NBA, etc. But I believe it. I've streamed slap because no one's streaming NBA. You're all watching NBA on other channels, but he's right, and he's got some formula that works, and he made UFC 300 amazing, and he must pull out more receipts. I want to hear them all. So yeah, let's get it. Let's go. But then you've got UFC 301 coming, and then you're like, okay, did we blow our load with 300 and what's next? But yes, I love it. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, man. While you sort out your the picture there, because you froze there for a minute, but we could hear you clearly. We could hear you loud and clear, so you have no problem with audio. Just a picture just froze there for a minute. So if you want to sort it out while we talk to Jordan about what Dana's done here and the stunts he pulled off. Jordan, as much as anyone else, the whole time this card was building up, we weren't actually shitting on it. Like we both of us in that. Like this card here is packed from top to bottom. You look at the whole card, where the who's who of the promotion is all on there. If you haven't fought for the title before, you was a contender. If you wasn't a contender, you was a former champion or a current champion. Like the amount of people that the card featured. For people to moan about it the way they did, I mean, but bro, what do you make of Dana putting everybody on blast like that?
Dana's a fucking G, bro. What are you gonna say to the man? You know what I mean? Like he had that in his back pocket, waiting for fucking weeks. He was sitting there going, keep this same energy. After the shit was done, he was just thinking, keep this same energy, motherfuckers. You can see it in him. You know what I mean? And he was just like, boom, drop that shit straight away. He was just like, yeah. What are you saying? Yeah, I mean, like it was just unbelievable, but quite right. What a card it was. You know what I mean? And he's obviously got the bragging rights now. If it absolutely failed and it was a shit show of fucking decisions after decisions, I don't think he would have dropped that video. That would have been interesting to see if it still came out. But
that's right.
Nah, good on him, mate. Good on him. Like you said, we weren't, when it came out, it was kind of like, yeah, this card is absolutely stacked. Is that superstar material when you're looking at Pereira and Hill? And it didn't really pop out like that from the way that they built it up. But it's going to be this mega superstar fight, blah, blah, blah. Yes, fantastic fighters. Yes, one hell of a fight when the time came to it. But when it was first released, there was that little bit, it's not superstars that people were expecting for this mega event that was being promoted. You know what I mean? So I can see why people looked at it the way that they did. But at the same time, it turned out to be absolutely fantastic, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's a fantastic card, and look, I'm still reeling from some of what we saw on that card. But before we move on to something else, there is one topic that came out from that card. There's quite a few actually. We're going to touch on a couple of them, but there's one that really came up from that card, and it was Bo Nickel, right? I was watching the fight obviously, and we thought, this is an improvement on what Bo Nickel. I mean, not an improvement. He's probably lower. I'll say lower than what he's been doing. That we've seen from Bo Nickel here, at least getting dragged into the second round. Big up Nippon. Nippon is in the house. Salute to you, Nippon. Man, hope you well. Bo Nickel himself came out and said he was disappointed with that performance. Right? At one point, the live odds, as crazy as it was before coming into the fight, I think Bo Nickel was like 1-8 or something crazy like that. Right?
Yeah.
That odd shifted when Cody Brundage started putting some punches together, putting some combinations together, and Bo says this is the most disappointed he's been. Yow, do you think Bo should be disappointed, or do you think the way that obviously he has a higher expectation of himself is probably why he's feeling like that? But Cody Brundage also put up a hell of a fight to hang in there with him. What's your take on that?
So, when especially when you're on a hype train and you are a good fighter and you have odds of, what was the highest? Things like 3,000 to 1 at some point, something ridiculous. And you have odds like that, and everyone is expecting you to win as if you're Robles de Spain, who's finished 4 fights in 20 seconds, Everyone's expecting that of you. But you end up going to the second round and getting dragged out by Cody Brundage. So from that perspective, I can understand why he would say he's disappointed. But at the end of the day, he won his fight convincingly. So, what's there really to complain about? But yes, with odds of 3,000 to 1, we expected a 13-second fight, maybe 30 seconds, something that was dominant, that would speak towards the odds. But the odds came through in the end, and he shouldn't really complain. He put in a good enough performance. Cody Brundage is not a slack. He is an experienced fighter. He is a good fighter. And as an experienced fighter, he gave Bo Nickel the fight that he had to give him. Took him to the second round. So I don't think he should be disappointed in his performance at all. But yeah, hype train, didn't get derailed. He wasn't fraud checked. But let's see who to put in front of him next, and then let's see.
McDade, I mean, he's now looking at somebody like a Kopilov or Anthony Hernandez. Based on what we saw him do with Cody Brundage there, I mean, we always talk about it that styles makes fights. You know, like what do you think that's the right kind of matchup that I should be looking at now, or just take somebody maybe slightly different, maybe slightly high, a little bit higher than Cody Brundage, because look, as we've seen with Joe Pyfer, yeah, the tougher you start going, the harder this sort of a fight starts to get for these hype trains. But what you make of it? What do you make of calling out Anthony Hernandez or Kopilov?
He is saying that he's wanting somebody ranked.
Yeah.
And Cody Brundage definitely didn't make that fight easy for him. You know what I mean? So yeah, if you want to get somebody ranked, go for it, mate. And I think he's aiming for that challenge, and we can really see what level that Bo Nickel is going to be at. You know what I mean? Obviously, he's ran through a couple of people, but they've kind of been handpicked. Well, I wouldn't say handpicked, you know what I mean? But they've been easier fights for him, like based on his styles. Like we say, styles make matchups, you know what I mean? But yeah, coming up against somebody like Brundage and struggling as much as he did, he didn't look like the world beater in there, like we've normally come to see. Obviously, he didn't look shite either. You know what I mean? He still looked pretty decent. Sorry, I've just walked my dog outside. He's still out there.
Dog.
Big up the dog, man. Is he in? Yeah, he's in now. What dickhead. I thought he came back in. I shut the door. So yeah, like let's see what he can do when he does come up against somebody ranked. Fuck it, give him somebody ranked. Give him Hernandez. Give him whoever the hell he wants, and let's see where he's at. Let's see where his level truly is at. You know what I mean?
All right. A big up to everybody that's watching live right now. If you're watching live and you're new to the channel, please make sure you're following the Rambling Dad. Make sure you're following the Head Kick podcast, and make sure you're following the Fight Week Show. Make sure you're subscribing, liking the video, and sharing the video as well. It helps our channel get better. It helps us reach a lot of people out there. So if you want to help the channels, please make sure you are subscribing to all of our platforms. Okay. We now know for definite that Islam and Arman Tsarukyan, them two going to be throwing down. Arman Tsarukyan in that fight against Do Bronx. I mean, that fight. I felt kind of worried. I felt worried for Arman Tsarukyan when Do Bronx had him in that choke. When they had him in that choke, I thought, oh, this is it. This guy is
dry too.
Exactly that. You know, that's what made it even more impressive, that the fact that he got out of it. But yo, what do you make? Is this a harder fight for Islam Makhachev than what people are really taking it for, especially with the history that both of them have together?
I think with Islam, if you look at Islam's career, right? He's fought a lot. He's fought Arman before, and with the performance that Islam put in against Charles, and the performance that Arman put in against Charles, it's tough to call because Arman had to show. He had to show I'm here to win. He wasn't the champion. When you're the champion, you don't have to do much. You just have to win the fight. But how Makhachev won was so convincing over Charles Oliveira. You know, it's going to be a tough fight. It's a wrestler versus a grappler. Sorry, actually, it's two wrestlers. It's two wrestlers. What am I saying? It's two wrestlers. And seeing them go at it and the sweeps that are going to happen, and then seeing them standing up and banging, I think Islam definitely has a fight in his hands. If you look at the axe kick, you know, that axe kick that came from Arman Tsarukyan, for me, that was my highlight of that UFC 300. He got a clean head kick. He put his, I mean, that thing was
That was like Sean Paul Van Damme style shit, wasn't it?
Right on the dome.
I didn't think that was even possible, and he did it in a fight of those stakes. So if someone can pull out the stops when they need to, the way Arman did, I think he'd be able to give Islam the right sort of fight to actually maybe get the title, simply because he knows what he has to do. And at that level, you're not trying to show that you need a title shot. You're in the title shot. It's time to get the title. So I think it's definitely going to be a very, very tough fight for Islam. I'm not going to say now who's going to take it because I have no idea. But yeah, it's going to be a very good fight, that one, I think.
Yeah. This one here that I want to talk about, my Dane. This one was bubbling up nicely, and I tell you why. Ilia Topuria sees Max winning the way he won, and he says, "Oh, I want some of that." I mean, when this brother won the title, he was calling out Conor McGregor, right? Why? I don't know. The man ain't even in the fucking testing pool, let alone, you know what I mean? Let alone in the promotion to get ready for fight. And this man just won the belt, calling him out. I was losing my head. I've said it on a few shows now. Why the hell is he calling out Conor McGregor when you need to be looking at the people in your division? But him saying he wanted Holloway, I thought, yeah, all right. Now you're giving the fans what they want, right? We know that's the right matchup for him, right? But what do you think, again, in terms of styles and matchups? How do you think Holloway fares against somebody like Ilia's skill set? And do you think we'll get this type of Justin fight that we just saw from UFC 300?
100%, mate. The blessed is best, and I can't believe I didn't back my man. You know what I mean? I thought Justin Gaethje was going to be too much for him.
Yeah,
I know, I did.
right.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I got
That's
1
right.
point for that shit. I know. I should have backed him, mate. I was on the edge that entire time for picking that fight. I was like, I should have backed my man. Yeah, I mean, but blessed is best, baby. Like, I don't want to say it's a direct quote from Arnold Allen. It was something that we discussed. And he never named Ilia completely himself, but he was like, "You're a plastic champ if you haven't fought Max Holloway, and you are." I'm going to say it as well. Like, you're a plastic champ of the featherweight division if you have not had to go through Max Holloway to get there. Everybody that's faced Max has fallen at the last hurdle. Yeah, I mean, that man is the gatekeeper of that division. Even Volkanovski came out and said, "Stop beating up my prospects, for fuck's sake." Yeah, I mean, and I think that's why they kind of let him skip, because they had to let that division roll somehow. Yeah, I mean, but nah, like Max Holloway, BMF. Yeah, I mean, baddest man on the fucking planet right now. He can call out anybody he wants to. Obviously, we're talking about Ilia calling out McGregor, who at the time wasn't in the testing pool, which was a bit of a wild one, but he made a big name for himself. He went over to Spain. He was going to in Bernabeu Stadium. He was getting all the props in the world from absolutely everybody. He made headlines across Europe to a more mainstream audience than what some
I think
MMA
he even got
fighters
Spanish
did.
citizenship, didn't he? From
He
the
got
Prime
Spanish
Minister.
citizenship, for winning that fight, which is absolutely insane too. Yeah, I mean, so
Yeah.
and big shout out to him, man. I think he's just got married as well, and I think they've not long had a kid and stuff too. So I mean, big shout out to Ilia Topuria. Congrats on the wedding and all the best for the family and everything. But Max is going to dethrone that man, as far as I'm concerned. It's going to be one hell of a fight. Yes, he's got power in his hands. Yeah, he's a scrappy little dude. You know what I mean? But I think Max will know how to handle him. And if Max turns up like he did against Gaethje, I mean, the one thing about Gaethje too, you're probably going to get onto this, mate, but that nose break in the first round just completely changed the dynamic of that fight. I think if he never got that spinning back, even if Gaethje had stood up straight and never bent down into it, like he almost kicked that motherfucker out the octagon. Like they were coming in, the cut men were coming in to sort them out in between the rounds, and Gaethje just got a fucking big dirty kick and almost went flying out.
During the live,
I was going to say
during the live watch.
Yeah, go on.
Oh, during the live watch, that was the one thing that fascinated me, was how many of those spinning back kicks Max was getting in that fight. Yes,
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, there was two tough guys that had their nose broken early on in the fight. Justin was one of them. The other one was Jim Miller. These mans are tough. When we're talking tough guys, these are the guys. They're the epitome of what you call tough guys. Nose broken early on in the round, and they lasted the entire thing till they were out.
That's what I've said to people as well, Mike. Nobody's giving Gaethje, well, there probably some people are, but nobody's giving Gaethje the props that he deserves too, man. You just went 4 more rounds after getting your nose broken at the end of the first one, fighting one of the best volume strikers in the UFC. You know what I mean? Just your face getting peppered when you've got a broken nose is absolutely insane.
Oh, big live update, man. God damn, we're in a tight
What's
race.
dropped? Liverpool
is losing 2-0 to Everton, man, in the Merseyside derby. God damn it. Yo.
I thought you were about to hit me with a fight for fucking UFC Manchester there, because that obviously got dropped this morning.
This is a big one, man. After the beat down that we put on Chelsea yesterday, Liverpool is now gonna losing to fucking Everton, man, in the Merseyside derby, man. Man United,
how many minutes?
They were losing, now they're back up 3-2, man. Man United, they're back on top, man, like Mustafi. Jesus Christ. Anyways, hey, big up everybody that's watching right now. Big up Alf in the house. Bro, this is a good news you brought us, man. You brought us a good, nice little update there. Respect for that. Okay, back to what we were talking about. Max Holloway. Right. So, something then went on, right? Ilia, I know McDane was just bigging up Ilia with, all the accomplishments and everything, and rightfully so, right? But Ilia then puts a stipulation on the call-out. He puts a stipulation on that call-out and says, if you not putting down the BMF, there's no title shot. And Max comes back and says, bro, that ain't a very BMF-y thing to say, bro. Like, those words that are coming out of your mouth ain't BMF-y, bro. BMF is supposed to be able to fight anybody, anywhere, anytime, any weight class. That's how we go down. But now that
sounds more like bitch-made fighter, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Fucking
now you want to start putting stipulations on the team. What are you saying, yeah? What's your take on all of that, my brother?
Look, Ilia has proven to be a vicious fighter, a very skilled fighter, and he defeated the GOAT, one of the GOATs, Alexander the Great Volkanovski. So, we see him in high regard. But I think Arnold Allen said it. You have to go through Max Holloway, otherwise you're sort of like a paper champion at this point, especially if Max is there, ready, waiting, coming off a win as he's just come off. You just have to give him the fight. It's literally that simple. There's no question. Otherwise, You're a Khabib. I'm sorry, with all due respect to him, he's undefeated, but you're a paper champion. You haven't really fought any names. The only time Khabib was really in headlines was against Conor McGregor. So if Ilia doesn't fight Max, he will then be seen in a similar light, although he got his title against one of the greatest fighters ever. So I think he needs to put his pride away and give Max the fight rather than saying, give me your belt and then you can get mine. Because then, like, what's the point? Like, that's not BMF, and the BMF is a specific type of belt. Ilia even asking for it, like Jourdain just said, makes him not even worthy of fighting for the BMF title, because that's not what it's about. So he just needs to leave that alone and give Max his fight.
Yeah, I'm with that as well. Magdane, you got something on that?
On the bitch-made side of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like, shut up, bro. Like, you're fighting for the featherweight strap. If you want that BMF, yeah, I mean, you need to go up the weight class, and I think he's all for going up a weight class too. So, if he wants it, then go up. Like, if that's what he wants, I mean, it's got to be at lightweight. You can't be taking that belt all the way down to featherweight and trying to put it on the line there. Not a fucking chance. Yeah, I mean, put on a few pounds, mate. Come up to lightweight, and let's see what you can do from there. But yeah. Anyone can get it. Max Blessed Holloway is going to be keeping that belt for a little while, I think. And again, like, before all of this shit kicked off, I was never a fan of the BMF belt. I enjoyed it when it first came out. I was like, yeah, that's a fucking bad motherfucking fight. You know what I mean, awesome. Then after that, I was like, kill it. That's what I kept saying. I was like, nah, one and done. Let's not run this around. Max just changed my perspective on that belt completely with that fight.
Yeah, it definitely put a fucking new shine on it, man. Like, now everybody that thinks it's some kind of novelty belt. I mean, look, there's one person I'm going to give credit to in MMA media that's always rated that fucking belt, and that's Chael Sonnen. He's always rated that belt. I used to think to myself, like, what do you see in this belt that you rate it so much? And it's like, it don't matter. It's some kind of notoriety that you have at any weight class, and if this is what they say it is, then go and fight for it. You know what I mean? It's something to fight for when other people ain't really got fights. It's something to compete for, because everybody, again, he always says, you man call yourself prize fighters. They put down a prize with your prize funds to go with it, and you man are dissing it. Like, what you here for? You know what I mean? Fucking get over there and, you know what I mean, fight for the BMF if it's available to fight for. So I can see now that Max currently holds that belt. In my opinion, I think the respect value of that belt has just gone up. And not just that, but how about the man that wrapped the belt around the winner as well? You know what I mean? It's a fantastic story. But look, I just wanted to touch on the whole BMF thing there and Ilia's stipulation to that, from calling out Conor to now calling out Max, like you're gonna offer him something, to then putting a stipulation in there and say, bro, you know what, if you don't put this down, we ain't doing this. Like, you called me out first, bro. You know what I mean? You know I'm the name to call in the featherweight division. If you really want to show you're really about it, I'm still that guy. I'm still that guy to call, man. And you know, but we'll see how it all plays out. I'm gonna stick with you, Magdane, on this next topic here. RCDC, and DC was having this conversation with.
I'm
with
so
Ben
fucking glad you brought this up. I know where you're going, brother. Rock and roll. I was thinking about this a second ago myself, and I was going to go. Have you man seen this? Go on.
So I see him talking about this with Ben Askren, and this is about Conor McGregor and the Chandler fight. Now he's saying, do you think Chandler has overplayed and overvalued this fight? Because in the time he sat there waiting for Conor, he's getting older. One, two, you're missing paydays, at least 2 or 3 of them. And by the time you combine all those 2 or 3 paydays that you've missed out on because you're waiting on Conor, you're going to get that big payday with Conor. But those 3 fights that you already missed out on, you're now breaking even. When he now broke it down like that, in my head, I'm thinking to myself, you know what? DC has a little point here. Because really and truly, it's, again, like I said, what Sonnen is always saying, why are you turning that fight? Get in there, get paid, and move on to the next one. as soon as you're available to fight again, because that's what you guys are here for. So when you're thinking about what DC is saying there, as Chandler overvalued, what Conor, they just waiting for this Conor fight and not really taking other fighters on.
Yes and no. Right. So since the end of obviously the Ultimate Fighter, he's been waiting on this, and I think he's been kind of dicked about himself a little bit. He was promised promise this date, promise that date, Conor's return, and then the issues with USADA and being in the testing pool and missing the cutoff last year, then having to extend it, and then all the rest of it that goes into it. Yeah, 100%. But mate, have you seen the fucking? Is he going to get some of the pay-per-view points on this? Even though he's not a champion, but because of the size of the card. $405, I think, was the cheapest ticket, and that's away up in the gods, bro. Yeah, I mean that's up in them nosebleeds. $405 was the cheapest ticket, and
you and Richard Eriksgate, we were talking about in the group chat, like
that's promoter
madness, bro. Madness.
That's promoter buys. That's not even general sale. That's promoter buys. So you need to add another 30-40% on top of that shit too. So it's going to be more than $405 for a fucking seat in the gods to go and watch Chandler versus Conor McGregor. Mate, DC does make a point. You know what I mean? He could have had 3 fights and broke even now. Like maybe if he knew that this fight wasn't going to be until so far down the line, what he could have done was maybe have 1 or 2 fights and still get this fight later on. But if he lost a couple of fights in between, would Conor still want to fight him? You also then need to look at Chandler's career. You know what I mean? Former lightweight champion as it is, mega career in Bellator, who at the time, Bellator probably had a better lightweight division when he was going through and getting those wins and became the champion. You know what I mean? If you look at it from that perspective. But yeah, Chandler's got nothing to prove. And he's at that age where I think he realizes I ain't going to be the champ of the lightweight division in the UFC. I've only got a few years left. Why not get the red panty night and then see where we go from there? And he's probably going to beat him. He's probably going to beat him, to be fair. My mate Sean put a tweet out today saying, I can't remember who it was, who he retweeted, but they were saying Conor's practicing the KO shot. And he's like, whoa, kicking a fucking bag. My mate Sean put, how small do they think Chandler is? Because it was just it was either like fucking a hip kick or just a fucking body kick, but he was kicking the bag that low. It was just like, how short do they think this man is? If that's going to be the fucking KO kick.
I don't know if he pulls him off like that, man. If he pulls that off like that, but yeah, staying on this topic here, especially with McDane talking about pay-per-view points here, because again, DC was alluding to the fact that look, if you're not the A side, really, you shouldn't be getting no pay-per-view points, right? Because Conor is going to be the one that's going to be driving all the sales, and if he's driving all the sales, why should the other guy that ain't really got the star quality that Conor has for getting all those pay-per-view points, why should he get some of the pay-per-view? And that's how he was looking at it. And we could look at some of these other fighters as well, that have been involved with big pay-per-view events, and they get some of the other pay-per-view counts. Like the Kobe and Usman fight, yeah, right? Usman really, yes, he's the champion. But let's be honest, he's my countryman, and I can say Kobe was the A side there. He's the one selling the fight. He's the one doing all the talking. He's the one doing, and Usman has come out and said it afterwards. I say, yeah, I realized what I got here in the, fighting with somebody like Kobe. Yeah, he talked all that insult and everything else, but he knows the value of Kobe, and he said the same thing about Masvidal as well. So it's good to always recognize when you're not the A side, but does that mean you should be robbed of pay-per-view points?
No. But unfortunately, it's a business, it's commercial, it's contracts. If one fighter has the capability, whether it be financial, to get the right legal team to put together a contract that says, hey, listen, you're not going to get my time unless you give me pay-per-view money, then okay. If the other fighter doesn't have that, then unfortunately he doesn't. So that's the thing. It boils down to that sort of level and pedigree of fighter, where if you're that level of fighter that can actually get that in, then it is what it is, because then you can command it. Like you said, whether or not you're the champion, Kobe, not necessarily just about doing the talking and the fighting, but he was the A side. He was the one who had the upper hand to go to the UFC and say, hey guys, listen, I want these pay-per-view points. So that's what it is. If Usman had that caliber in terms of getting access to pay-per-view points, whether it be in knowing how to sell, getting someone else to help him sell. I mean, if Pereira had also pay-per-view points, I'm sure he would have gotten it, because Poatan has been doing hard work in terms of making sure that his content is out there. Not even that people love him, but he's doing stuff. I mean, he did that weird little thing with Hasbullah a few months ago, where Hasbullah went to go and watch some weird kickboxing in Brazil. So he's been staying active and making sure that when it comes to the fight, if he asks for pay-per-view points, so you will give it to him. So for me, it's not necessarily just A side, B side, but if you're working hard, you deserve the money. If you're not working hard, get out of here. So if you're working hard, let's get it. That's how I feel about it.
On just on this one before you walk away from it too. Yes, working hard, promoting, social, all of it. Let's not forget who made this fight happen. It wasn't Conor McGregor.
Oh.
You don't remember Mike Chandler's fight speech? Conor McGregor. Yeah, I mean, like, he went out there and WWE'd the life out of that shit.
He did.
And
He did. You're right.
This fight happened. So yes, Conor has the star power. Conor has the more the bigger following. Conor has the mainstream fans in his back pocket. What some people would like to call more casual fans in his back pocket, other than hardcore fans. You know what I mean? I don't think there's many hardcore fans out there that actually like Conor anymore. But mate, Michael Chandler knows how to sell fights. Yeah, you don't count. You're one of us, bro. You don't like Conor. Shut up. Sit there. So yeah, Michael Chandler knows how to sell fights, bro. So if he ain't gonna get some of that pay-per-view money, and he will beg the fucking life out of this shit. You don't think he's gonna go back and forth? Will his smack talk be good enough to go back and forward with Conor McGregor, though, which is going to be the or is Conor going to come in as humble Conor again? You know what I mean? Is he going to come in all friendly and shit?
Conor been telling him, you do as you told me.
I know, mate, I know, yeah. But he might flip it. He might flip it. You never know with this man. You know
Oh my days.
That was class. Get it.
No, look, Conor's he's a wild soul, man, and this brother, there's always something around the corner with Conor McGregor, and that's probably one of the things. As
much as I hate to say it, Leroy knows.
Yeah, it's true. You know, but the thing is, there's always something around the corner with this guy, and for me, as MMA content creator, for all of you guys as well, he's always leaving his name out there for us to talk about something, man. So look, we'll see what happens with that fight, but it's just crazy to me. Another thing that those guys talked about, and this one here, I called it live when it was happening, right? And now that it's resurfaced, I thought, you know what? Maybe there might be something onto this, right? I must stick with you on this. The main event between Poatan and Hill, DC and Askren. No, actually, DC and Askren talked about it, but also Bisping and Weidman, right? And they were talking about the stance of Herb Dean calling and making the sign timeout, and that's what confused Jamal Hill. I called it at the time, but what Jamal Hill didn't notice was how close, while Poatan was telling Herb Dean to back off and move away, he was fucking closing in on my man, he was ready in that hand and was closing in on him. The left was there ready, and once he got within range, pow! And my man folded, bro. Like, it was crazy. It was crazy, but people were saying Herb Dean fucked it up. People were saying Hill fucked it up. People were saying, like, nobody's blaming Poatan, though. To be fair to Poatan, no one's blaming him. But they're looking at Hill and they're looking at the ref. Right. Who does the buck get stuck with you? Or do you see a different way?
As they say, fight until the ref stops it. And that's the rule in MMA. Fight until the ref stops it. The ref didn't stop it. The ref tried to stop
He
it.
made the
So
sign.
look,
Time out.
and to be honest with you, that is so fair. I didn't really think about it, but now that you mention it and I think about it, it's very possible because that left hook came out of nowhere. It was timeout, 1, 2, 3, bang. Like it came out of nowhere. So it's very possible, almost like a quick free kick in soccer, football, where the ball's there, everyone's just kind of like, oh, what happened, and then the game's back on. So it's very possible that that was a quick free kick for Hill there. But at the end of the day, you keep going until the ref actually. The ref, oh, it's tough. That's a tough one. I didn't think about it. Yeah. Is it over?
Yes, it's over, man. Boy, I'm happy in the motherfucker, bro. Yeah, man, I'm happy. Right, let's go.
Especially
Let's
after the
get back on.
5-0. So yeah, so look, I hadn't thought about it, but it does feel like it's raw from Hill. And at the end of the day, if you're the ref and you've called the timeout, The fighter can't tell you that keep going. You take control and say, wait, hang on, are you okay? Send the fighters each side, and that's why they send the fighters to their respective sides of the octagon,
Reset.
and then say, okay, is everyone ready? Let's go. Or they reset them. So I didn't think about it until now, but I think it might be quite right that might have distracted Hill because it's, oh, ref, is it a timeout? Boom, before you figure out whether it's a timeout or not, it's over. The fight's over. However, Jamal did not complain about that. So,
He has been.
oh,
He
then
has
I
been.
accept. Oh, then I accept. I think I accept. I still see Pereira as a valid champion. It's exactly like a free kick in football. Oh, sorry, a corner kick. Lots of football references because of our 5-0 Arsenal. Let's get it. Let's go. And Liverpool losing 2-0. But when the players just put the ball just off the white line at the corner
Like,
flag.
yeah,
It's almost like that, and then there's a goal scored. So it's those fine margins where one fighter uses the advantage, and there's nothing that other fighter can do because unfortunately they missed it. So it is what it is.
Hey, McDane, I can see you itching to fucking have a go at this fucking topic, man. I can see you
I'm
itching
fucking
away,
chomping
man.
at the bit over there, man. I'm
Fucking
like,
hell. Get to it, brother. Talk to me, man. How you seeing it?
Cal Pilkington, bullshit. You know what I mean? That's all I'm coming out with. Right, boys. Right. Yes. You get kicked in the nuts. We split them apart. We say no. But the man that got kicked in the nuts said, nah, boy, I'm good. You know what I mean? Let me cook. You know what I mean? He said, let me cook. Yes. I think it was DC and Sonnen. I'm not sure if I've heard Bisping talk about it. I know I've heard Sonnen and I've heard Bisping talk about it. I think I heard Usman and what's the little dude called? Triple C. Yeah. I've heard them talk about it too. Mate, nah. Like, Hill threw a punch, for fuck's sake. Like, yeah, he walked away. And then when he said, nah, it's cool, he walked back. He's ready. He fucking threw the first punch and then bam. I mean, he threw the left hand and then he threw the right hand and then the left uppercut came in. Uppercut, hook, like whatever the fuck it was. You know what I mean? That dropped him. It was like two knuckle deep.
There was no wind up to it. There was no telegraph, no nothing.
Yeah, just bop. Like,
crazy,
good
bro.
night. Eyes rolling to the back of your head. So yeah, my point of view is, no, they shouldn't have been separated. The man that got kicked in the nuts says, nah, I'm sound. Like, if the man that never got kicked in the nuts said, nah, and then he got knocked out, I'd be like, whoa, hang on, wait a minute. That's a slight advantage to Hill there. You know what I mean? He got kicked in the nuts. He thought you were going to stop it. And then he stepped forward and chinned him. Like, yeah, fair enough. That would be a shout. But for the man that got kicked in the nuts to say, nah, bro, let's keep going. And like you said, 1 step, 2 step, 3 step. But yeah,
that was so clever, bro. That moment there, that
motherfucker stood in his foot.
Moment there, so fucking clever to have the presence of mind while he was backing up the ref.
He never took his eyes. He never took his eyes off him. He just went, hold up. Yeah, I mean, like, and he was fucking laser focused. He saw that speck on the chin and he was like, I'm getting that bit right there. That bit he forgot to shave. I'm just hitting that bit right there. You know what I mean? Like, I've been looking at that since that fucking bell went, but nah. I'm on the side of it was fair game for me, brother. I mean, the standing on his foot, I think it was unintentional, but you could maybe talk about that more than you could talk about the ref Herb
It's a
Dean
fight.
calling a timeout. And yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, Herb Dean called a timeout. The man that got a kick said, "Nah, I'm good." They both looked back at each other. They were both ready for it. Hill threw a punch first. He got caught first. Simple as that. Tis what it is.
Yeah, and in defense of Poaton as well, Big John McCarthy. Everybody knows who he is. Is one of the people that set the rules for MMA fighting. So like this man knows the rules, and he's come out and he's defended Herb Dean on this one and said Herb Dean put the sign up to call timeout, and on top of that, the person that they're calling the timeout for, who's been fouled, has every right. As we've seen in so many fights, they give up to 5 minutes. It's up to them to call when that 5 minutes is over. And at that point, when Herb Dean is calling timeout, Poaton is calling an end to that timeout, which means the fight's on. If the fighter that got fouled calls an end to the timeout, fight's on. And as they called it in that moment, it means the fight's valid. These are the rules. Big John McCarthy was explaining that. So, from when he said, like, let's not even look at Herb Dean here, even though he called timeout, but the person that got fouled, if he's ending whatever the time is, up to 5 minutes, then the fight restarts. And Jamal Hill is the one that the buck stops with here because he didn't have the presence of mind, even though he was the one that fouled the opponent in that situation there. So it's been a mad one. It's been a mad one on that one. On that one right there. The other thing that I really wanted to talk about, right, is Ryan Garcia. I didn't watch along for this boxing fight. At so many dust-up shakedowns we've done, Jordan and Yao can attest to it. We keep talking about Ryan Garcia and the crazy shit that he's talking about, whether this guy was going to get locked up in the psych ward, whether he's going to... And throughout the watch-along, I was watching him, and he rocked Haney in the first few exchanges. And I thought to myself, oh my God, this is going to turn out to be something we weren't expecting. But I picked Garcia to win because obviously I've been thinking, this brother, is he giving everybody a fugazi, or what was going on with him really going on? He's since come out since the win, and we'll talk about the fight in itself, and said, hey, listen, I was fucking with everyone. I was just fucking with you, man. I was having fun with it. And yeah, but he missed weight, and that's cost him being the champion right now. He missed weight, and we have zero tolerance for fighters that missed weight, right? But in the interest of the actual topic that we're talking about, in terms of Ryan Garcia fugazing everyone, what's your take on that and the way he beat Haney? Yeah.
We talked, like you said, we talked about it many times. And up until the moment that he missed weight, for me, it just didn't make sense that he could go that crazy. It just didn't make any sense. I thought that he was definitely pulling out legs and he was fucking around, because some of the things he was saying was just, it was too consistently crazy. Crazy people can't be that consistent. They're crazy. That's the nature of being crazy. You are erratic. So the fact that it was so consistent, for me, it was like, there isn't anything there. But then then there was that altercation that they had like a few days before the fight. But then when he missed weight, I was like, but he's missed weight. So maybe it's all true. Although he only missed it by 3 pounds, which is not that much. If you think about it, it's what, a kg and a bit. It's not like he was a fat, overweight slob. He literally just missed weight. But I didn't know that at the time. So when I heard he missed weight, I was like, oh, I think he's going to die. I called Haney in the third round, which means that Garcia was going to be nowhere simply because of that. But yeah, he did an amazing job of fooling all of us and making us think that Ryan Garcia has lost all of his boxing skill. Ryan Garcia has not even been training. He's about to come into this fight and get killed by Devin Haney. And he did the exact opposite. He floated like a butterfly and stung like a bee, quite frankly. If you think about how he fought and what we were expecting and what he ended up doing to Haney. So big ups to him, well done. And I'm looking forward to what character comes out next before his next fight. And did you see the altercation between his dad and Eddie Hearn? So there's always a lot of bit of craziness around Brian Garcia. But look, I'm glad that he's shown that he is still a boxer. He is a phenomenal boxer, Canelo prodigy. So it's good to see that he is still in it. And this was all just a show to get the numbers, to get us who are talking about MMA to talk about him for 3 months. That is good marketing. So big ups.
No, yeah, that's fair play to him. And like you said, he's got us, MMA followers all talking about him and the people that obviously he was interacting with online. It was just immense. But now this is led to a bit of a back and forth between him and Sean O'Malley. Jordan, Sean O'Malley said the UFC is absolutely up for him fighting in the boxing ring. As long as it makes them money, as long as it makes them enough money,
it's all about.
They're happy to do that, right? But he thinks in a fight like that, there has to be 2 A sides for it to be worth the UFC, like Conor and the Floyd. The A side, the A side has to come on both sides, and he feels it's not really there yet as an A side, especially in status of with boxers like Garcia's pay just got released the other day. He got 50 million for that fight, bro. 50 mil. Like
never mind what he won betting on himself too.
Exactly. O'Malley ain't never seen that kind of money professionally as a fighter. So like the levels has to be there, and he's thinking he needs to win at least 2 more title defenses to really get him to that A side, and maybe he's going to entertain fighting Ryan Garcia in the boxing ring. What do you make of all of that?
I thought it was nice to see Sugar Sean be that self-aware, to be honest with you. I mean, he could have ran with that. Yeah, I had like top 3 biggest gates, all the rest of it in the UFC, and he could have absolutely blown it up that he's already a star. But he goes, no, 1 or 2 more fights. Let me get to that level. Let me build up my profile a little bit more, and let's set the stage for that mega fight. He's going to get done. Just like any other MMA fighter that goes into boxing, he's going to get fucking dusted. That's how it always goes. This is the dust up, shake down, and Sugar Sean will get dusted up and shook the fuck down by Ryan Garcia. Mega shout out to Ryan Garcia too. Got me 2.8 million fucking likes and a lot of hate on Twitter. Yeah, from one tweet that I put out, man, the boxing world did not like my funny little take. I mean, by I was saying, how is this fight still going down? I mean, it was like, man's missed weight, he's failed a drug test, he's drinking beer, and what else was it? I put he lost his mind. I was like, how the fuck is this fight still going on? No, there was a lot of people that didn't like it, and there was a lot of people that thought it was funny too. But hey,
that guy who came out and said he was making babies during camp, like, I'm thinking to myself, like, bro, you're saying all the fucking crazy shit. You're saying all the fucked up things. It was just wild. It's wild.
And he was saying he was drinking and smoking the entire time. You know what I mean? But yeah, back to that Sugar Sean Garcia fight. I'd watch it. Yeah, I mean, fuck yeah, I'd watch it. But I don't think Sugar Sean's gonna win it.
No, it's probably a bad play, for O'Malley. But in all of that as well, Garcia did say, I was asking for this fight to be in MMA, and all of a sudden, he wants to come to the boxing world. So we welcome him. When he was calling out O'Malley, he said he was calling him out in the MMA fight. But O'Malley wants to bring it to boxing, so he said, yeah, you know what, let's do it. Maybe they'll do 1-on-1. Who knows?
We always think that, and then they never do. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. One boxer's going to take a leg kick to those skinny little legs that the guys carry, I mean, and fucking game over. Shit's going to sink in. They're going to go, oh.
them legs are going to seize like my fucking car engine.
That's what that feels like. Shit.
Their legs are going to seize up, man. No doubt. Right. Let's finish on this one. I'm going to stick with you, Jordan, and then we'll ask Yao his take on this. But this is the last topic I want to talk about. This one's mad, because I saw Chelson talking about this, right? And This take is pretty wild to me. But is there merit to it? That's the thing you never know with Chell. You never know with Chell Sonnen with this sort of crazy shit. So he said, watching all the kind of interviews, all the interviews, the stories that are circulating around Duplessis and Izzy, it turns out like it was DDP that turned down the fight because they offered them to headline the UFC 300, right? Izzy accepted, DDP said no, right? And he said, but then DDP turned up in his dashiki and turned up at the event that he turned out to be the headline of. He said, if you're turning down the event to headline the event, if you're injured, why the fuck are you at an event like this? You should be at home nursing your wound and watching from the TV. Like, do you subscribe to that? Because I don't.
Nah.
But like I said, we tell you just never know. Maybe some people will buy into that. What's your take on all of that shit?
Mate, you got to stay relevant, you know what I mean? As if you're not going to be at the fucking biggest fight card of the year, you know what I mean? Even if you are just cage side and people are going to see your reaction, it's going to just build your profile that little bit more. Even the Max Holloway fucking KO finish, when it went, yeah, exactly, when it went to the crowd and you seen DDP and you seen Sugar Sean, you seen everybody's reaction. Mate,
Who was there?
Nah, Chael Sonnen's chatting out of his ass as usual sometimes, you know what I mean? But he's he can do what he wants. Nah, I don't think it's or be at home, nurse your wounds. That's just a little bit silly, innit? You know what I mean? Oh, you're off work, you're not allowed to leave your house. Shut up.
You know, we're talking about you know, we're talking about the 185 champion here as well. I mean,
this ain't no 9 to 5, son. You know what I mean?
Hey, yo, yeah, we've heard DDP say I didn't come into this sport to be reasonable, to be a nice guy. I'm here because I'm a knucklehead. You know, we've heard him say that, right? I do this because I'm a knucklehead, but like this is my thing, right? He's not seeing an injury. But why shouldn't he be allowed at a fight event? We've seen so many fighters. I've never heard this take before.
Whoa, Yao just fucking fell over.
That trick is so wild, he knocked fucking Yao out, man. You know what I mean? Fucking knocked him off his feet. Jesus Christ. That trick is fucking mental. But Yao, I mean, this is your countryman they're talking about here, 185 champ, you know what I mean, in the UFC. And all of a sudden, it's not allowed to come to events. It's not allowed to show his face and represent his people, if you like. You know, I like the dashiki was wearing, man. You know what I mean? That dashiki looked good. It looked nice with the gold over his shoulder. But talk to me. What do you make of all of this crazy shit, bro?
Child Sonnen, that's what I make of it. Child's had it out for Drickus since the toe. Since the toe injury, definitely Child Sonnen's had it out for Drickus. He doesn't like Drickus very much. So I'm not surprised that he's saying what he's saying about Still Knocks. If I remember correctly, around just before the time of the toe, when Drickus still had his breathing problems, Drickus didn't attend, I don't remember which UFC it was, but it was one of the UFCs in Australia where Izzy defended his title. I can't remember which one it was. But there was a lot said about the fact that Drickus wasn't there. And Drickus is like, but what do you want from me? It's not easy to get visas into Australia from SA. So for Chael to come around and say something as ridiculous as don't attend UFC 300 because you're injured, give me a break. The only time I could have said that, well, I probably shouldn't tell the story, but there was one former rugby champion who should not have traveled halfway across the world to go and watch a rugby final in which his team was playing because the trip back killed him. So, but I mean, with the injury that Drickus has, why would you not attend UFC 300? It makes no sense for Chael to say anything of the sort, honestly. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Chael Sonnen gonna Chael Sonnen, bro. That's it.
I mean, he's just that guy just being a bad guy as usual, man. You know what I mean? They don't call him the bad guy for no reason, man.
One other thing that I actually wanted to bring up, and I thought this is where I thought you were going earlier with the DC thing. 1 second, let me just get it up just so I don't fucking don't
let's talk
butcher it.
about
So, Daniel Cormier said, "I don't think we've seen one takedown attempt in 3 BMF title fights. Nobody's wrestling. You want me to tell you who I think should be the next BMF title fight? Aljamain Sterling. If anybody's a BMF, they could do what Aljo did at UFC 300. You go up a weight, you dominate somebody in the grappling like that. That's a BMF. So, hot take, Daniel Cormier just being a wrestling dick rider as usual. What are you boys thinking on that one?
I'll go first to this one. I think it's the latter. I really and I love grappling. You guys know how much we love the intricacies of what goes with grappling into jiu-jitsu, into chain wrestling, into sambo. There's all sorts of craziness. If you know what you're watching, that will fascinate you. If you're really into the grappling side of things in MMA. But to say a BMF, should only go and do what Aljo did there. I don't subscribe to that. I love the stand and bang. I love the advantages that a grappler has over a striker. And I like the advantages sometimes that a striker has over a grappler, as we've seen with Derek Lewis and Curtis Blades, when Curtis Blades went to change level and he found the uppercut trying to do it. We've seen all kinds of crazy shit happen in this sport. So to say one's better than the other in terms of being a BMF, I don't know. I just think it's who really puts the fight down and either dominates to the point where you get verbal quitting, or the ref pulls you away from the guy because there's no unanswered strikes and you've 10-7 this motherfucker, or just stand and bang till somebody goes down in the last fucking second of a fight, like Holloway did with Justin Gaethje. So for me, I don't subscribe to that whole grappling thing there, man. It makes no sense to me. I don't know about you, Yao.
He makes a point that there have been no takedowns, so it's more who is getting the stand and bang belt than anything, which is great. Although, to be honest, taking an opinion from DC is taking an opinion from a guy who thinks Khabib is the greatest fighter ever. I know it doesn't make sense. For me, I'm sorry.
Everything was going well.
I'm waiting on one word coming out there. One word coming out.
Everything was going well. Don't make me warm up my bus for you,
Richard
brother.
Ragg in the house, people. Think MMA. Think Eric's Gear. Get on that shit.
100%. Salute to Eric's Gear, man. Richard Ragg, man. Salute to you, brother. Thank you for gracing us with your presence. Everything was going.
I don't know what to tell you, bro.
Till
where it
you
comes to Khabib,
in your mouth, bro. You know what I mean? Wash your mouth out.
The thing is, he can't be on top of your all-time greatest fighters ever list. It doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry. Like it's virtually illogical. And DC has him at the top of his greatest fighters of all time ever. No. So from that perspective, I don't really rate DC's opinion that much. So in this instance, I disagree with him. It shouldn't be one or the other, but the thing is, UFC isn't bare knuckle. However, guys do go down. Guys do somewhat grapple. There is clinching, so it's not bare knuckle, and it is still. I'm happy with the format. Although there's also another hot take that says that fight wasn't the most exciting fight until the knockout, which was just phenomenal. It was just not an average fight, but it was just a good fight. Not like a phenomenal fight. So from that perspective as well, maybe if there was a little bit more takedowns, a little bit more wrestling sweeps, maybe it would have made it more exciting. Because you can only stand and bang without getting tired for so long. I don't know, but look, it was an amazing fight. I don't agree that Aljo's wrestling, BMF it's just different. It's not even about styles. It's a different. I mean, you had, anyways, yeah. So no, I don't agree with that.
It's a crazy one, man. I really don't think it's about grappling, man. And yeah, big up for bringing it up. Still, I don't think it's about grappling, man. It's just about who puts in work, who does it the BMF way, and that's what that belt represents.
Don't get me wrong. I get what he's saying when he's coming in saying we've never seen any grappling or any takedowns in a BMF fight, right? So see if you had somebody. So you take Aljamain Sterling for instance, right? You fucking trying to sniff the back of a man's ball sack for 3 rounds, or are you going to be say you had the output of a Khamzat Chimaev in a BMF fight, but you had that for 3 rounds, 5 rounds, whatever they want to go for. You know what I mean? Right. Yeah, you're a bad motherfucker. You are the BMF. If you can absolutely dominate a dude in the striking and hurt him, get him down. You know what I mean? An all-round mixed martial artist. Yeah, sweet. That'd be a fantastic BMF fight. Yeah, but if you're going to get somebody that's just going to pressure pass, hold your man down, not really do much with it, maybe try and take you back, go for a submission, that's not the BMF that people want to see. They want to see the stand and bang and somebody absolutely get annihilated in the middle of the octagon.
Yeah, man, 100%. Look, nobody wants to see an earlier style Usman. Foot stomp, grapple, more foot stomps. You know what I mean? Cage control.
You always go back to those foot stomps, right? Bro.
You know what I mean? And more foot stomps, right?
Acting like this man's at a gig. He's like,
right, like, look. And the crazy part of it is Usman fucking embraced. I came out and embraced the whole foot stomp shit. It's like, yeah, man, I love that shit, mate, man.
Bob Marley was the king of foot stomps. That man had rhythm and rhyme. Yeah, I mean, what you saying?
Like, boy, my knees are jacked up, man. Like, fucking hell, yeah, man. Foot stomps gonna help. Then, boy, we do it. But look, for me, yeah, I'm not with the whole grappling thing, man. Forget that. You know, that's not what the BMF is for, man. You're supposed to put in the work on the actual belt. Do you have something, Yao? Do you have something you want to bring to the table? Okay. In the interest of time, big up to everybody that's been watching us.
I think you might have done.
Yeah. Brave 82 happening May the 11th. We are doing media for that as well. It's out of Mauritius. Brave is one of the only other international MMA organizations other than the UFC. You know, it comes from there. I think Ilia also comes from there. A few UFC fighters and champions have come from there. So yeah, we're doing Brave 82. Really looking forward to it. We've got Nkosi in the Belal. Oh, the future. Yeah. We've got Nick the Saint when they're fighting on that card. It's a phenomenal card. So yeah, really looking forward to that one.
Tando Biko also on that event there as well.
Tando Biko is also on that one.
And Brad Katona that won the Ultimate Fighter champion from Brave FC as well. So yeah, man. We're gonna be doing something with them as well. We're gonna be doing something with them. They want us to cover the promotion, so we are going to be doing some work on that. So big up
to so we'll be working together.
Yeah. It's looking like it, man. It's looking like it. And we're gonna do something to bring the Rambling Dad in. I did say I was gonna tell you in the WhatsApp group earlier on. We're gonna do something to bring the Rambling Dad in, and we want to get as much.
Get me in the melting pot, boys.
Yeah, man. We want to get as much eyes on what's going on with that event as much as possible. So yeah, man. There's no reason not to work as a team on this one. So yeah, man. We definitely gonna try and make this one as wicked as possible. But I'm excited about it. Okay, in the interest of time, like I said, over 80 people was watching us at one point. Big up to all of you. 80 people watching across all platforms. You guys are the best. We do this because of you. Make sure you're subscribing to the Fight Week Show. Make sure you're subscribing to the Rambling Dad, and make sure you're subscribing to the Head Kick podcast. Kick them in the head. Make sure you're following them on all socials, and we got plenty of content coming your way. Plenty more content. Just keep your eyes peeled. Make sure you put the notifications on, and people, up until the next video, man. Hasta la vista. We're out. Salute.
Peace.
Love. Kick him in the head. Axe kick. That was the axe kick.
Hey guys, this is John Anik from the UFC. You're watching the Fight Week Show. Please subscribe. Not now, but right now. Subscribe to the Fight Week Show. We'll see you guys on the road soon.